All right. Hello, Maido.
Hello, Jaak. Good morning, everybody in our webinar. Don't need to worry if you are hearing the sounds already, but are still in taking some coffee or water, because we are starting before the official time to make a little warm up, because we are in Scandinavian nature where it's more winter. You need to
Need to
warm up
warm up
yourself.
and take a coffee, certainly, or a tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both is okay. So I see that the people are gathering, so you can use already our chat functionality in right corner. There is a possibility to say hi
or hello.
Yes, it's what type of cup of tea is for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are
We
still
are,
gathering.
yeah, a couple of minutes is still to go before we officially start. So a little warm up question. No? Do I have any?
You don't have any warm-up questions.
I think I found one warm-up question. So I will publish this poll. Where did you hear about this webinar? So just a warm-up from LinkedIn, from Facebook. You went straight to Eziil homepage, or somebody recommended to you, or some other ways. How did you find us? So, and if it was some other way, you can let us know in chat, like where it was, or how did you end up here?
I was recommended. I will submit that one.
Who recommended? I'll put myself then other. So we are the only two who has been answered to that question. So you can find it under the polls. Later on, we use the same functionality to ask some questions from you as well, so we can engage you to our webinar, get input from you, and what else?
We have to just wait when everybody is gathered, and then we can start.
Yeah, we have one more answer. Yes, it's not only two of us anymore, so there's more now.
Thank you. I will put some emotions also into play.
Yeah.
And you can write into chat also, hello, or ask a question during the webinar, because today we have more of, when we usually have done, we usually do Eziil more like digitalization software presentation webinars, but today we are more like giving general knowledge. So yes, it will be very helpful for us if you are engaging back and asking questions, and then we can start making this based on your specific needs, what audience.
Can anybody write in chat hello or something, so we know that it's working? Because right now we have a lot of people already in the webinar, but it's okay. Somebody's typing. Very good, very good. That means I think it works. Hello, Mick.
Hello,
Mick.
Marek. Oh, super. Whoa, super. Looks like we are very firing up. Everything is working technology wise, and we can start officially our webinar. Hello, everybody, for joining in to Eziil webinar. Today's webinar is about 5 key points for successful fabrication digitalization. And we today give you our knowledge, what we have seen during the years, how to make this digitalization process more smoother, easier, and just be successful on that.
Exactly.
And I'm Maido, and with me is
Jaak. Hello.
And today's webinar, we will go through, basically, we will introduce ourselves, we will show you the key main points Of course, there is a many points more, but we have to choose 5 because we promised 45 minutes. So, so we have to make a selection. And then we have a summary and also special offer. So if you are listening us until the end, you can engage into special offer and really put this information into practice, because practice gives you knowledge and knowledge is power. And questions and answers, we have a block in the end, so you can write your questions into our poll section, or you can write it in chat, which either way works. But if you make it in poll, we can very easy, or this question
section.
Yes, question section, then we can highlight it and others can see it, and maybe we can pick it between our presentation and it will be easier this way.
But let's go on. So, who are we?
So I'm Maido, like I already said. I'm Eziil, a CEO, and Eziil is helping to companies to digitalize. There comes my knowledge. I started in industry already like 23 years ago and started as a consultant. So I helped companies to digitalize back then with Excel spreadsheets, making production plans and schedules and stuff like that. And eventually became myself a production owner. So I produced myself furniture. So I have quite extensive knowledge from being as consulting side and really doing that work also myself. And with me is Jaak.
So I am a business manager in Eziil project part, and I've been also around 20 years in industry. So I've been with different manufacturers of steel products and in different positions. So I started as a production engineer, and I've been like project manager, production manager, been part with the sales, etc. So all kind of different positions and seen everything from different hats or yeah.
And if you want to contact with us, here is our contact information. So you can write to us if you have a question later on that you want to ask, maybe in private, not in webinar.
Yep. And who is it for? My God.
So this webinar is specially tailored for specific type of productions because there is like a serial production and made-to-order production. And this webinar is more tailored into made-to-order type of production. But of course, if you are a serial producer, the principles are quite similar. Maybe the way how to look them is a little bit different. but this is the point. We are concentrating with our knowledge, or our knowledge comes from the companies where is more than 100 up to more than 10 up to 100 people, because this is the size where we feel that the digitalization can actually bring more effect for the company. And when we are speaking about project-based productions, then we actually mean by that companies which is very complicated to automate because the products are always different. So there is no repeated product every time you start from ground zero, but the operation can be repeated. So our objective today is to give you the understanding why is digitalization important, and what is the main things that you need to decide or think through before actually going into action. This is our intention, what we try to give you today with this webinar.
And how to be successful doing it.
Yes.
And for that, I will publish the first poll. So this should pop up on your screen now. So what type of production do you have? So we said, what's the main target here? And what do you have? Is it like project-based company, mass or serial production? It's a combination of those, both of them, or you do something else. You're not maybe a fabricator, you are a consultancy company or something else. So give your answer, and we can take those also into account. But if we go on from here, we can see, okay, the polls results are coming in. Also, we have something else, and project-based are the main answer. So I think we have a quite good audience in here. So the main key points, what we're covering today: why do you need to digitalize? What's the best timing to do that? Process mapping is a part of that. What is the software to start digitalizing, and how to implement this? So these are the 5 main key points, and we first start with why.
So can you turn back one page? Yeah.
What?
So yeah. if you are now like that type of person who takes a book and opens the first leaf where is the content, and you read that and that's done, then now you are done with that webinar also. So this is basically very shortly how to actually succeed in digitalization, like really short formula. So now we are going like more deep dive into this, what is inside in every that chapter, that what you need to consider and think about.
Yeah. So why to digitalize, or do you need to digitalize at all? So no, you don't have to. It's not a law like a bookkeeping, some standards. You don't need to do any digitalization if you don't want. But do you want to keep your business? Do you want to develop it? Then yeah, you need to, I think you need to digitalize. And what generally, there are many different studies made over that, and what digitalization generally gives you, it's increased efficiency and productivity. So you can see like 30% of productivity is increased just by using different technologies. You can make like data-driven decision making. You don't need to think like, is it good or bad idea to test something out, but you actually can see the numbers. On the paper, you can get something, but it's really hard to like get this mass data effect there, and see like the small numbers changing, but ending up big. Of course, cost reduction. So the studies have shown that implementing digital technologies can lead to an average of 15% of reduction in operational costs due to different automations and resource optimization. And also, it's much easier to do the compliance and traceability because all the things are connected to each other, and it's quite easy to see all those things like together. So these are actually the main points why you should digitalize. Start thinking of that.
And I will bring you this like importance of that because this was our first chapter, which is called Why. And it's important on digitalization process that you decide based on your company current needs and future vision, what is your most important why. Because there is so many things you can do. Like there's so many things, and there is so many objects. Like you can see already here, we listed, listed 4 here, but actually there is like multiplied with 10 what you can do, and you can go like all over the board with that. And this actually makes everything harder. It's like with the production. If you produce only one production order, it's much easier when you try to produce like 10 or 20 projects at once in the same time. Exactly the same is with digitalization. And the other thing that I want to highlight here more additionally is about this 40% higher turnover. It really depends on your company current level of maturity of your processes at that current level, because some companies might have very well like repeated processes, but some companies might have like maybe need some updating or more efficiency to that process. So it's very, you cannot take this as a, how to say, as like a rule, It's more like a baseline, and you actually race with your own baseline, because before and after, and this is the point where you should take a look of that.
Mm-hmm. And let's move on actually to the next
step.
one. Next step, if you have decided that you want to digitalize, then we move on. If not, then you can leave. So, but timing, when to consider?
Yeah, I already a little bit introduced this with a why, and this why can you show you actually this also, that at the moment on that current level where we are at the moment making business, it's absolutely okay. We handle things with Excel spreadsheet, with emails, with phone calls, with meetings. This is absolutely okay. Question is about timing, because for example, you cannot sell books to people who don't know how to read that language yet. So you need to know when you are ready to read a book in foreign language, for example. So the same thing is true with your production digitalization, that you need to watch where you are, and this where you are is always like two-folded. Are you unsatisfied with the past, or you are satisfied where you are, but you have a vision that is greater than today? And you see that with the same amount of people, and you cannot handle that flow, what is coming to fulfill your dreams. For example, you plan to grow maybe 25% year to year, but without actually taking people in more all the time, and with less firefighting. And when you look back to past, you see that you have a quite enough firefighting, and then you know that if you grow 25%, then the firefighting actually grows even more. So this is how to actually digest that where you are. Are you like hurry with this digitalization process, or you have more time to plan ahead, that maybe next year, or maybe year after that, or maybe when we reach to 2.5 million turnover, or when we get this type of complex projects, then we start to digitalize. So this is something that you need to understand where it is in your lifetime in the company. There is like no common rule that you have to do it, like Jaak said, that it's not like a law or something like that. But we can give you few, like how to say this, like signs or like
Markers.
Some specific. What was the word, Jaak?
Markers.
Markers, yes, like markers that you what you can see in the process, then you know that you need to maybe plan it or plan it ahead. One thing is this, that when the company is small and the production is small, and one person makes sales, makes a project management, makes maybe procurement, it's very easy to handle. Not very easy. It's easier to handle that because everything is in one head. But when you start to divide the processes, that you have one person who makes sales, you have one person who makes procurement, you have one person who is draftsman, who is doing all the preparation. So this means the information is divided between these different people heads. So you need to work additional layer of communication. So you can do it with the phone, you can do it with the email, you can do it with the endless meetings, or you can build some type of spreadsheet system that actually communicates with these different departments. So this is one point where to look, where you need to raise your communication level in another level. Another challenge that comes in the way when growing is this, that you have multiple people working in the same position. For example, you have a procurement. In procurement, you have two people working over there. So who ordered what? Did he order or did he not order? How he gets his request, etc. There is a big problem of how to switching work or how to manage work between these people, and the others need to see what's going on over there. And imagine if you rely only on phone calls, then I want to know how far these things are, or is it ordered? I have to call it, I have to look it up, who is ordered that, etc. So it's a lot of mess, a lot of inefficiency, very good source of problems, let's say it that way. And yes, without holidays work. so this is another thing that can be one trigger. And I think in for example, Draftman's point of view, this is very important again, because in Draftman's, for example, if you have multiple people and they make the work in Excel spreadsheets and they little bit work differently, it creates hell down the stream, because procurement gets a different type of resource, like information input, and the production gets a little bit differently writing out this information. And again, it creates you inefficiency in the process, and your production can make mistakes or even stop. So these are like people-related challenges that can create how you plan your timing on digitalization. Then there is industry trends, like specific trends, for example, that how customer is expecting to work with you, or how people who you plan to hire actually, how they are used to working. So if you plan to hire a top of the notch sales guy who is very used to that he can report to his customer how far the project are with just when the customer calls, he just opens the system and looks how far the project is, and you offer him the process that you have to come into factory, have to look yourself and stuff like that, then he cannot perform. He needs that information. When he can promise the deadline, is the project on the budget? Did he so do expensive, do cheap maybe? So he needs that information. So the industry trends are pushing you actually to doing this because others are doing it, and it becomes a norm. And so you expect that. Like, for example, if you go today in the store and someone says that you can pay only with a check, then you will be very disappointed because you have only credit card. So it's a bit similar thing that if you want to continue that business, then this is normality. And in the end, the timing sometimes can come with the leadership also. And this point is twofold from my side. Usually it starts with some type of new people coming into company, or as a manager, you want to change something. So let's take a first aspect. As a manager, you see that you need a change in the company, the way how we are working. You understand that the same way working, we cannot actually grow 25% per year because we have to hire so many people and the profitability will be gone. And this is like a pointless why we make that business. So you want to review the processes. Then sometimes it can be from leadership point of view, a very good way how to review all the processes and actually make all the necessary changes. We will get into that. So I will leave that as a teaser for one of the points. And on the other side of that is this, that you onboard maybe someone who have worked in the company, which is digitalized and everything is visual and people can communicate and see what's going on and everybody is in the same page. And he or she is like really like, oh my God, how you can handle this, like only phone calls and emails and like a lot of administrative work, and the meetings we spend like 95% of time only like discussing how far things are, not actually finding solution how to get things done. So with such people, onboarding such people as a leader or manager, you can use these people to actually start to changing the culture and mindset, because digitalization is just another way how to do that work. The old way also worked because you came into that point where you are now, but digitalized way gives you ability to get all the team into one page, and this is just a communication channel that the information is available when I need it. So using this type of people who are very motivated to do that is one way how to actually trigger, which shows you that now it's good timing. Now I can use that time to actually start working with it because someone is really, really interested of that. So this is last point in my section. I can go on along, but you need to write me or call me that we can continue that conversation.
Yep. And I will go on with one poll. So I will publish another poll. So like, what do you feel like? How it's in your company? Is it like level 1? Are you still investigating what digital solutions can be used? Level 2, you have done something, or you're planning, or something is going on, but you're not quite there yet. Level 3 is like you have the strategy set, but you're just executing now. You have actually a plan is made, program is ready, and you're just executing it. Or level 4, basically you have digitalized already a lot, but it's just improvements today. So let us know, where are you today?
I wanted to put one thing more on the table with the timing. Why I spoke about this, that when is right time for you. I have understood as a CEO, it's very stressful to actually carry everything in your head all the time. Like, I know that these things need to be done, but I have not decided when. So this is, as a manager, for you possibility to actually decide some type of milestones when you start to deal with that, because you have probably something else what you need to deal before that. And this creates you more space in your head and life is easier. Management trick.
Yeah. I see we have actually people from each level, so that's very good. So the investigators can gain some knowledge, and maybe the level 4 experts can share some knowledge as well here. So that's a perfect situation for us. But let's move on. After the timing, what we see as an important thing is a process mapping. So
this probably comes when you are actually reaching into that point that you know that you have a right timing, that now is the right time to start.
Yeah. So some sort of process mapping everybody does, but how is it thought through and how much it has evolved during the years? So this is a possibility, but if you have a plan how to digitalize, so what we are talking today also is more like a general management software, so not like a machinery digitalization, more like a software. And if you do this process mapping, this is like you can do it yourself or buy in as a service. So it is something we really recommend, so you can understand what are actually the processes is going on in your company, and where's the problem or where's the bottleneck. And it's really good to use sometimes external service because they can see it a little bit on a different angle. And sometimes people don't think themselves, this is nothing, I know how to do it and I don't want to focus on that. And then they don't want to look at it and all is good, but actually it's maybe a real mess up there.
I have a Jaak here, a good example that in one company where we made this process mapping, and we started to ask that why you are doing that process in that way. There was some specific things. They was writing something down and sending, etc. And then the person, like after like a third time I was asking this, then he said that, okay, it was handled, giving me that way. So he even didn't know himself why he's doing that. He just took that job and this was like a one part of job description, and he just continued to do that without asking that why he's doing that. Because now if we are installing the software, you don't need to do that anymore because this is automatically done for you. So you don't need to do that. But such things are very complicated to see when you are in the environment yourself. It's like a box. You just look everything in the box in the same way all the time. But if you bring someone else in, I don't know, like, why? like this, I think would be good example for that.
And for the process mapping, I will actually ask you another question as well. Like, what do you feel at the moment? I will go on with a more detailed way. Why is the process mapping good for, and what are the outputs? But what do you feel yourself? And you can choose multiple options, like how the process is mapped in your company. Do you have the company structure, like the main thing? Like, if you already draw out this waterfall chart or whatever, how you decide that, you can see the basic processes, how they are working, but maybe there are more like general business processes, department based. How is it done? Are those processes up to date, or are those done years ago? So these are a little bit different things you can think of, like when did you do this? But what are the main outcomes of this process mapping? So this is, you actually take the team together and you review and you agree what's going on. So you will set the boundaries. Where are actually the boundaries of responsibilities? If there are gray areas, you need to sort it out. You need to think it through. Maybe you don't have yet a solution, but this is the problem, what has been raised up, and you have an idea. Especially if you use like an external service, they quite often give you a solution or proposal how to solve this thing. And there are things that you can, if you see the process map and there are some errors in it, you can do some actions, take immediately yourself. You don't need to especially like buy software to solve it, but there are things you can of course do it yourself. And the really good thing is as like a digitalization start process, that you will engage your team, and in the next steps it's like really important when you go to implement this thing, that the team knows and understands where they are and everybody is on the same page, and it's like a team event, like going out for a sports or something, but it's like it's just really work related, but still it will engage the team, and everybody is like and if you do it really properly, that you will give a word to everybody, it works really well. We've seen it multiple times that if you engage the team correctly, then the further steps are much easier to carry on.
And I was just thinking, you're like you said that you recommend really like buying that service in, and I was thinking that why I should buy the service in, because I know myself as a producer, I know the best how to do that process. And one thing is like seeing from another angle, like I said, seeing this situation absolutely another angle and asking stupid questions, like which anybody else is not maybe asking because it's so aware that everybody know that. But me as a person outside, I can ask these stupid questions. But there is another nuance more on that, onto that, because it's very complicated to actually hold that process up day to day. It's not like that I go behind the computer, I write this ready and it's done. Like there is like a different people from different roles with a different view, with a different way of looking what's need to be done and how, because everybody wants that they have the easiest way how to do the work they are doing. So to get all these people together behind one table and actually like manage that discussion and really like map it out like a consensus, it's actually like a really, it's like an art actually to get this thing working. And if you have such a person in your company, maybe process manager, maybe development manager, he can be up to that and hold people accountable to really like achieving that goal. But if you feel that you don't have such like a skill set in your company, or like people who can do that, then it's good to buy it in. You can buy it from the, and this buying in decision, like this is like a one thing, like do we do it in-house or I buy in? But this buy in actually is going also to two decisions actually. Do I buy it in from independent consultant who is doing like consultancy only to the productions, and you buy it in from him, or I buy it in from software provider, vendor? This is another thing. And this is a very, very big difference. I leave that open, so we can speak about this in next slide.
And I actually had another thing that I remembered, like as an example. So we had this poll here, and I see that 45% is they have mapped the company structure, and 9% says that everything is up to date. Woohoo!
This is good. This is good.
Yeah. So I was in one company doing this similar process mapping, and they had the company structure, and it was quite a large company, and they like thought they understood what's going on. And when I started mapping out, at one point the general manager saying like, okay, but what are those guys doing? Like in the company structures, they are named in one way, but everybody, oh, they have loads of work. But do they do any planning? It was a planner. Yes, sort of, but not kind of. So it was like really eyes opening. The name can be one thing, and in the company structure it can be one thing, but reality is something else. That they are doing something else, and you need to reflect that reality.
This is good point. This happens almost in every project. It is like that. You get the company structure. You have the project manager, for example, and you actually go in and start to look what he's doing. He's doing in every company absolutely different things. like in one company, they're buying things out. In one company, they are doing quality assurance. In some companies, they are doing even estimations. So they're like, you can never like assume what they are actually doing.
Exactly. But let's move on. And the next thing on our topic is selecting the software, the fun part.
Yeah, fun part, because it's a very big decision actually. And I will give you some specific general themes, what to look on, like specifically, because if you start to compare what is out there for you, then you have to have some type of like topics, how you actually compare different solutions. The first thing I would say is easy to use. And why is this first thing is this, that the change management is a hard enough process on his own, that don't make it harder with complicated systems. So it needs to be easy of use, needs to be in there. Otherwise you will do it a very long time and your team will be very stressful. And you have a very hard to grow because you cannot onboard new people and they cannot digest very quickly into process. That's the reason why the onboarding is so hard. If you build everything in Excel's spreadsheets, because they are different in every company and you have to digest into that process, and there is a lot of things that is unwritten rules you cannot actually know. You just have to make mistakes, then you know that it is a rule. Second thing is it should be suitable for your growth stage. It cannot be like too easy. This means that when you grow, it don't come with you. It doesn't grow with you as a company, but it cannot be very above on your level. So it is so hard for you to close the gap. So it needs to be in very appropriate level. And the best is this, when you find a software which is able to come in your level, and actually you can grow in that process, but you don't have to make things overcomplicated at first. Then there is a third thing, is functionality, of course. What type of things need to be happening, what needs to working, and how. And there is a good to see that if the process map is done, you know how your process flows, then you can compare this how the software process flows. And if you see that the process flows isn't very similar, then it's a question that, okay, where is the problem? Do we have to change our process flow, or we have to find another software, or we can use it in software another way? This is very important to actually to separate. And that's why I said that deciding to take outside help is good. If you have a vendor who is mapping the process, then vendor knows how the process works in the software. So he helps already to streamline the process in the way how the system works. So these things are already covered, that you know that functions are covered. This is like a great step. But if you take like vendor who is not the provider, or like a consultant, he is not the provider of the software, then you have to go through all that process. Basically, you have to digest everything on the process. And in the end, of course, we are humans. You have to have some type of chemistry or like understanding that you want to work with these people, you trust them, you understand that they understand. You don't have to spend time on explaining them the basics of the business. So this is, again, like, I cannot highlight that enough. Like, you take a consultant outside house and you have to explain him basics of the business, like operations, for example. The consultant should know that it's a drilling, then it's a welding operation, there is a painting, there are galvanization. All that stuff has to be covered already. Then you are very much saving a lot of time for yourselves. And in the end, you are getting to more like this. These aspects were more like a feeling-based evaluation, and there is a very more like coming to more ground to earth comparison, which is like, do you have monthly fee type of software, or you take full licenses? The risk is much lower with monthly fee, but you can plan your cash flow. For example, if you are growing, the software can grow with you. You don't have to put so much money on the table. And if the software doesn't, in some reason, shoot for you, it's much easier to drop it out. But what I have seen with full licenses plan is this, that you put so big money into play already, it's some cost, and you don't want to change because you have paid already so much, even if it maybe on the way turns out it doesn't shoot for you. Then there is a cloud versus on-premises. Definitely I recommend cloud myself, because this is the way how it's more risk-free and much more like you don't have to know anything about infrastructure, and this is where the future is going. And there is, of course, the special solutions versus environments, which is like, maybe do you build up like 10 tools to get your solution, or you take environments which can maybe playing maybe 2-3 tools together, and you get everything in one page. So this is like really like some specific comparisons. And again, it should make your decision making easier. We need to give you the framework.
This specific solutions versus environment, this is something like you need to think of, like, if you're more focused on sales, maybe you want to buy in a specific like contract management with this customer relationship management software like Pipedrive or something, and it's really focused on that and it does it really well. Or it's more important that you need a planning tool or purchasing warehouse tool, or you need to get everything in one place. So this is the environment. You generally the MRP systems versus the specific small solutions.
Again, this is like roads back this the first step what we said. why is important. If you know your why, the decision making gets easier.
Yep. And let's go to our final step. And this is the implementation. So this is where the real work begins. Now you have done all the, if you think of it as a project, so you did a bidding and you made engineering drawings, purchase, etc. Now you're going into the workshop and start fabricating things. So you have made all the pre-work, but now you need to put things into work and to get actually out the real efficiency. Why do you do it at all? And you can do all the first steps really well, but still fail on the last main step. And how to avoid that? So there are first couple of things to consider. How to do a software implementation if we're talking larger softwares like MRP systems. So do you do it step by step, or you do it all in? This means step by step is you will take one part and you digitalize that, project preparation or purchase or warehouse. You take this one small item, you will digitalize it, and you see that it's working, then you take a next step, time under control, something like that. Or you go all in. So you prepare many months, and then you say 1st of January, we pull a big handle and now it's live. We start doing it and everybody needs to do it. So there's a consider how much are you willing to risk on that you change everything at once, or you will go step by step and evolve with it. So this
I myself, I'm total believer of step by step, because everyone who is thinking that if they are changing something and they are right away making something 10 times more efficient, they are absolutely illusional. First, you create chaos because you break the things that you had over there, and then it slowly, gradually starts to getting faster, better, easier. And in the end, everybody was, I cannot imagine working the old way. But first, it's a total nightmare. so that's why I cannot imagine how you can stop all your production all at once. Even if I know that it's a lot of companies are doing that, but I don't recommend that.
And the second thing that you need to think of when you're starting to do this implementation, do you go horizontal or do you go vertical? So horizontal, what does it mean? That you will take, it's step by step versus all in, a little bit similar, but it's another way. So if you take a horizontal, you will take from every step, you will include the people. You will include the drawing office, you will include the purchase, you will include the production and the workers in a light level. They will do just a little bit. They don't give too much input at first. Maybe from production, they will just report how far as a percentage, how far the project is, how far is the preparation, how far is the welding. They will just do some percentage calculation on their head and they will just move some parts or something like that. Versus if we're talking about vertical, we can see we're take under the focus time, and we do it really in a deep way, but we don't touch other parts. We don't touch materials, but we just consider
warehouses,
how to do this time management, how to do this one. And these are different ways how to do implementation. But this is something you can work out yourself when you do the process plan or together with some consultant. And what's important during the planning and executions. So give yourself a clear objectives. What was the situation before and what do you want to get? What is the after? Quite often with softwares, there is a problem that we see that we go somewhere and we see, maybe we'll put this one extra, this is extra, this one extra. And you will never gonna finish, and you don't have this effect like wow, I've done something, I'm actually ready, and this gives you and your team a motivation how to implement this further and further. Of course, the timeline, the plan, you need to have milestones. When do you want to achieve something? Like time needs to be done on July, and this is a deadline, and you need to work on that deadline. If you don't put any deadlines, you will not going to get any results. You have to have a project manager who's focused on this implementation. Is it in your company, even if the software has an implementer who's working with you, you have to still have in the company, you have to have a project manager, and the top management must be involved. So this is like in every management system, this quality management systems, they always say like, how is top management involved? And this is for the reason, actually, if you show the top management shows interest, everybody else will follow. Otherwise, if your top management is not engaged into that, and you think I can still do it, it's hell of a hard thing to do. So
Yeah.
and also all stakeholders must be involved. So every person must be involved into the action. So you can't say like he or she will start doing something, but you don't actually involve it in the first steps. They need to be involved in every step on the planning, even if they don't need to do at first too much, or it's a really light thing that they need to do, but involve them in the first places, and it will go much smoother on the end.
It's basically all you do is basically to actually lower the potential friction.
Yep. And all the implementation is actually change management. You're changing the way how you work. We are running out of time, and let's do a little summary. So start with why you are digitalizing. Is the timing right? Do you do the process mapping? Are the process mapped to it? I really recommend. You need to select the software. So take into consideration what are the different options, different ways, and implementation. This is the key to get really your money working on that way. And we go on for the summary.
We are taking together this today's webinar. Thank you everybody for being part of that webinar. We are from Eziil, so we are ourselves also offering cloud-based MRP solution for project-based manufacturers. And since we are doing ourselves the implementation, so there actually comes our knowledge how to actually be successful with that, because we have seen quite many unsuccessful tries also. So it's a part of learning curve. There is nothing to do. All the projects cannot be successful. And this is the way we have learned to understand how to make this efficient way. And if you want to know more from us, so there is eziil.com. You can leave request a demo and we can speak about your company, or we have contacts, or write to us. So all is possible. And it's not in how to say, if someone is speaking something, it's good if they prove it. So how we can prove that?
So this is a special offer, what we're going to offer you. The first 3 ones in here on the webinar online. We offer you a 90-minute online session for your business process flow mapping. So we are covering all your main processes, and we are looking what are the possible things that you can improve quickly and what could be the solutions. So if anyone is interested on that, and this for the first 3, this will be without the charge, just a free thing for you that you can engage with us.
So let's make it practical, because information is useless without the practical experience. So let's make that practical with this offer. So if you have a questions, now we are in our end of our seminar. You can follow us in LinkedIn, Facebook, and we have in YouTube also our channel. And if you have a questions, we take a look. We don't have at the moment any additional questions. We can be very silent, for example, 5 minutes and wait for questions, because that will be super awkward and challenge for me. But we will not do that, and we take this as a feedback that our message was very clear, well taught, and well delivered. And we hope you see you in our next webinars. Thank you for being part of our webinar, and see you on the way.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Likes. Thank you. Okay, I will end it now. Bye.
Bye.